Good afternoon. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining our Blackboard Teaching Readiness webinar. I believe now we have more people joining, so we will start with the introductions. So my name is Hammam Saeed. I'm a senior educational consultant, and also I'm part of the team of the training team who are delivering the training for the faculty members of Cairo University. I'm really glad to be part of this team, and hopefully we will have the benefits and provide you with all the knowledge that you need to start learning and how to use Blackboard Learn for teaching and learning. So our agenda for today, we will cover 7 different topics. These topics and areas are covering all the functionalities and features of the Blackboard Learn. We will touch base of each topic from those different areas, starting from how to navigate and use the Blackboard and access the Blackboard Learn environment and also accessing the courses. Then we will talk about how to start building and added contents and materials to the courses. Then we will explore to you some of the skills required or how to facilitate and record a live classroom using the Blackboard Collaborate, which is another product from Blackboard company. Then we will see how to create an assessment activities using the assignments and also the tests. Also, we will talk about how to facilitate an online discussions to create a collaborative environment in your classroom. And lastly, we will talk about the grade book or the grade center, which is a very critical tool for the instructors. So starting from module 1. So module 1, as we said, that we will talk about the how to navigate within the Blackboard Learn and how also to access your courses within Blackboard Learn. So we will demonstrate these required steps for you to access the Blackboard Learn, and also demonstrate for you the steps to navigate within your Blackboard Learn course. Also, we will talk about some practices using the course navigational tools to access different features and tools that's available within the Blackboard Learn course. And also, we will identify some of the characteristics for success in the online environment. And lastly, we will compare how to organize our content within the courses. But before we start, let's first provide the definition of the Blackboard Learn. So what is Blackboard Learn? So Blackboard Learn is a web-based platform that allows teachers to build and upload their contents and materials and assessments and collaboration engagement activities to be delivered for their students. So the Blackboard Learn is a learning management system which provides the power and the required tools for you to deliver and administer and track and report an online education through the Blackboard Learn courses. Now, once you are in Blackboard and once you are in online environment, mostly you will work as a teacher or as an instructor. You will work within a course in a Blackboard Learn, and a course is a self-contained area that comprises course contents, activities, learners, and teachers. So within the course, the learning and teaching activities will happen, and the course is part of the Blackboard Learn environment, the learning management system. Now, you might have one course or multiple courses that you teach on the Blackboard Learn, and remember that you can access only one course at a time. So this means that once you are access a course, you will start to deliver the teaching activities for your students. Then you can move to another course to start delivering other activities for the users, for the students, for other courses. So anyone who can access the Blackboard Learn platform, we call him a user. So a user is anyone who can access the Blackboard Learn. Once that user is assigned to a course, then what we call them is enrolled into a course. Then the user can be a student where he is enrolled to that course as a learner, where he can view the contents and materials and submit the work. If the user is enrolled into a course as a teacher, then the teacher can start build the course, create the content, create the assessment activities, and also empower or provide the collaboration and engagement activities within the course. So all the users within the Blackboard lane are considered as users, but once you are in a course, then either you have a role of student or you have a role of instructor. Now, this is the default login page for Cairo University. And as I said, once you have an account, then you are considered a user within the system. Once you enter your username and password and successfully logged into the Blackboard lane, you will be taken to the site navigation page. So this is the first page that you would usually see once you are successfully logged into the Blackboard lane. Now, the interface that you see it here, we call it an ultra experience because this site navigation provides a user with key workflow tools through the base navigation. So on the right side, as you can see, there is a set of predefined activities that you can perform within the Blackboard lane environment. And from those different links, you can perform all the activities that you need to do in the learning environment. And we will explore those different items for you in the next slides. So before moving to the next slides, I would prefer to go to the Learn environment and show you how we can log into the Blackboard lane. So I will switch here and share my desktop, sharing the Blackboard lane or my browser to you. Now, I think you all can see the Blackboard lane login page. So this is the login page of the Blackboard lane for Cairo University. And we said to be a Blackboard lane user, then you should have a valid username and password. Now, after you enter the username and password, and with successful login, you will be taken to the Ultra base navigation site. From here, you will see the site navigation menu, as we said, where you can access different areas in the Blackboard lane to perform your daily activities. Now, as you can see, that the landing page here is what we call it the activity stream. And activity stream is like is like a one-stop shop for you to get the notification from the system and from all the courses that you are enrolled into it. Any messages or any update that have been sent to you will be in the courses or in the system will be presented in this area. So for example, you will receive any message that the students or that your students sent it to you. You will receive also a notification about submissions or grades. You will see the notification about announcements and the important messages that is released from your institute. This landing page allows you to see the activities since your last login and also the upcoming events and other relevant information. So there is a different type of information that you can find here. So you can find, for example, today's notification, recent notification. So today's notification represents the most important items that you need to do for today as a student or even as an instructor. You have the recent notification where you get any update or notification or messages or announcements that has been released from the different courses. And also there might be other categories that can be released like previous notifications and important notifications based on the configuration and settings. Like we might see as a student, they might see an upcoming notification for any activities with a specific due date that will come in the next time. Now here also in the stream page, you can do a filtering for what you can see. So for example, I can see only the grades and the feedback notification if there is any, or I can see also the assignments and grades feedback if there is any. This will allow me to focus more on a specific items. Now, for me as an instructor, I will get notification from instructor point of view. So for if the student has submitted his work, then I will receive notification that the student submitted his work and it needs to be graded. If there is a due date for any specific activity, then the student will see a notification that there is a due date for a specific assignment that they need to pay attention to it. So this is the first page that you might see, and it contains all the notifications that has been released on the system. Now, also you can see we have the institution page. This institution page is defined by the Blackboard administrators, and it allows the institution to communicate any important information to the community, to the learning community within Cairo University. So as you can see, currently there is maybe no any modules, or there is no data has been released, but usually you will see, for example, help information, support information, online resources that might be related to you. And of course, each user role will be able to see a specific information. For example, if there is any resources released for the instructors, then you will be able to see the related information for the instructors. If there is an information released for students, then they will be able to see all these information. So again, in the My Institution page, the institution will release an information about help desk or library resources or online resources or any helpful information for the users within the institution. The second item in the site navigation is the profile. So from here you can see your profile, and the first thing that you need to do once you log into the Blackboard lane is to go and verify or review your profile information. Make sure that your full name is being displayed correctly. If there is any problem with your full name or your email address, you might have the privilege to edit these details. Now, if you don't have the privilege to edit these informations, then you need to contact your Blackboard administrator and make sure that they are updating the information with the correct details. Also, it is also recommended to a profile picture. Remember, we are online in online environment, so there is usually no visual contact or visual communication or body languages between you and your students. Adding your profile image will add this level of relation between you and your students. Also, from here, you can edit some of the system configuration and settings, of course, if that is allowed by the system administrator. One of these configuration is related to the language settings. So as you know, Blackboard Lane supports different languages, and one of them is the Arabic language. And based on the site configuration and settings, you might hear the list of the languages that support it. Currently, we have only English, but I'm sure in the future you will have English, Arabic, maybe French, German, and other languages that can be supported. From the profile settings, you can change your language settings for the profile. You can also change the privacy settings for your profile, where you can identify who can access your profile or who can view your profile information. So currently, as you can see, we have one of those three options: only instructors, or you can select anyone in my courses, or only the administrators and anyone in my courses. Based on the selection, the system will allow other users to view your profile information and the detailed information of your profile. Also, from the profile page, you can edit the global notification settings. Again, remember, we have talked about the activity stream. And the activity stream is where the system is sending all the notifications that's happening based on the action that's happening on the system or on the courses that you are teaching or studying. As a user, I can go to my profile and I can change the notification settings. So from here, I can control which notification that I can receive on my activity stream. So as you can see here, we have performance alert notification. We can see, for example, new calendar events, blogs activities, journal activities, and wikis activities. Other type of notification that you can configure it is how the system will send the notification to your email address. So we have two options: either email me right away, which means whenever there is a notification, just send me a copy from that notification. But the preferred one is to email me once a day, which means by the end of today, the system will bring all the notification and compile it into one email message and send it to you. From here also, you can select which messages that you like to receive in this compiled email notification. And lastly, the last type of notification is what we call it the push notification. This is if you are using your mobile Blackboard app in your mobile. From here, you can define what kind of push notification to be sent to your mobile app. So again, from the notification settings, you can control the notification type that can be sent on the activity stream menu. You can define what messages that can be sent to your email inbox, and also lastly, what kind of push notification to be sent to your mobile. Once you define all these notifications, you just click on save and you have all the configuration done. The last important thing is that if you have a cloud storage account like Google Drive, OneDrive, Dropbox, and any other type of cloud storage that you like to link it with your account in a Blackboard lane, you can just use add account here from cloud storage accounts, and the system will allow you to select one of those providers, the Box or Dropbox or Google Drive or OneDrive for Business, and link it to your account. The value from doing this is that you can access any files that already stored in your cloud account within the Blackboard lane without the hassle of logging and maybe downloading the file in your computer and uploading the file again to the Blackboard link. So these are the important highlights of your profile. Again, just to confirm, verify that your name has been displayed correctly. Make sure to change your profile image. If you need to change your password, you can do it. Review your system settings and configuration. And lastly, configure the cloud storage accounts if you have any of those options. Now, the most important link for me as a teacher or as a student also is to be able to access my courses. And from the courses menu here, the system will display the list of the courses where you teach on these courses or where you are studying on these courses. And as you can see, the system is categorizing these courses based on the different periods of time. So we have current courses. We can have also upcoming courses. Also, we can have what we call previous courses. And the system defined the type of the courses based on the start date and end date. So for example, if you have courses from previous terms, so you will find an option called previous courses here. If there is a courses that's coming for the next term, then you can just go to the upcoming courses and the system will display those upcoming courses. Another thing that you can do here is that you can filter these courses based on the courses that you teach or based on different attributes of the courses, like in open courses or completed courses. Also, you can search for any course using the search area. A very interesting option here is that you can view or display the courses as a grid. So you have as a card. So we have the course card where it shows the title of the course, and also if there is one instructor, it will display the instructor name. If there is multiple instructors, then it will display the list of the instructors on this course. So you can switch between those different views of the courses. So this is your start point to access the courses. This is really your start point to start the learning journey or the teaching even journey within the courses. And of course, to access any course, what you need to do is just to click on the course title, and then the system will open a slide bar that will take you to the course homepage. As you can see here, so I'm accessing my course called Introduction to Astronomy, and currently I am within my course. Now, if you close this window or close this slide, it will take you back to the main page, to the ultra-based navigation. Now, let's go and review also the calendar tool. The calendar tool is one of the most important tools for you as an instructor, where you can see the events that has been released from the system administrator, which is in this case institution-wide, or you can also see the events that has been released on your courses where you are teaching these courses, or even you can see your personal event. And to add an event, you can just use the plus sign, and here you can add the type of the events, like you can add an event, or you can edit a schedule, or you even add an office hours. Now, those are almost the same. The difference is that edit schedule and add office hours will add further notification within the course homepage, because those are related to a specific course. Now, if you select add an event, then the system will ask you, is this do you like to add this event to your personal calendar, or do you like to add it to any specific calendar? To a specific course calendar. Then you select the appropriate calendar or appropriate calendar type, specify the start and date, the location, the description, and of course, if this is a recurring activity or there is a repeat for this event, you can identify the configuration and settings for this event. So let me say a meeting or first meeting with my student. For this specific course, I will say this is one event that will happen, for example, tomorrow from 4 p.m. at 5 p.m. I can add more description here and then click on save. So as you can see, for the days where there is an event, the system will display this shaded dot, and as you can see, this is the event for a specific course, and this is how it can be displayed to the system, to the users. Of course, there is more functionality where you can move the event very quickly without editing it. Just a click and drag. You can extend the time for the event based on your need. And also the calendar or the global calendar here allows you to change some of the configuration and settings. Like by default, it will display all the course or all type of the calendars that's available, either institution or your personal calendar. But also what you can do, you can share your calendar with an external mailbox, or you can add a calendar from an external mailbox to the Blackboard link. So this is also a very important feature, where if you share this calendar, then there will be a sync between the Blackboard link calendar and your mailbox calendar, like an Outlook or other mail system that you are currently using. Now, of course, you can change the view also. If there is any specific due dates, then the system will display the events for the due dates. And the reason that the system displaying that the due dates, because whenever you create any activity within the course and you specify a due date for that activity, automatically the system will add an event for that activity on the calendar of that course. If you go to the schedule, then the system will present all the activities that is coming from today or even tomorrow, or all the different period of time. And of course, you can view the calendar monthly basis or even on a daily basis, where you can view the events. Now, inside the course, there is also a calendar tool, but this is what we call it the global calendar, because it does not live within a course. So it will display the institution events. It will display the events from all other courses that you are teaching or studying in, and also it will display the personal event or the personal calendar, where if you are accessing the calendar tool from within the course, then it will display only the events for that specific course. Now, messages is the communication between you and the student is critical and very important in online environment. So the messages tools allow you to access the messages that has been released in, or that has been sent to you in any of these courses, or also it allows you to create a message within any course. And once you do that, you can select the recipient, say, I need to send to a specific student in that course, or you can just select all the students in that specific course. Above all that, then you can also add the subject and the body of the message text. Once you've done that and send it, then you will be able to view the inbox and sent item for the messages. So because communication is very important, that's why in the site navigation, you will see the activity stream, which is considered to be a very important communication tool between for you and your students. The calendar event, also a very important communication tool to inform the students and inform you about the important events and the due dates. Messages, also another communication tool where it allows you to communicate with all students on a specific class or even with a specific students. Now the grades. Usually the grades is something related to the student, where the student are expected to see their grade. But for me as an instructor, the system also will display the grade columns for that specific course, and it will give me the average of the student total on that specific course. Also, it allows me to access or view all the works for the student who need to be graded or submitted. Now I can see all the different activities, all the work that has been released in this course, and from this link I can start to access the specific item or specific graded activity details from this menu, where I can just start adding or updating or changing the grades for the student, as you can see here. For the student from here, he can see his course grades and any updated or graded item that has been released by his instructor in that course. We have also the tools. So in a Blackboard lane, as you can see, for you as an instructor or as a student, most of the activities that you are expected to perform will be within the course. But still, there is a set of tools that's available on the system level, like the goals, the enterprise surveys, the rubrics, and maybe other kind of tools, the content system, and other tools that might the administrator decide to make it available for you to help you to manage or run your activities within the system. Lastly, you will see the sign out button. This is where if you need to leave out from the system. Now let's go back to the courses and see how we can access the course and what are the different components of the course homepage. So let me show you an example of an existing courses, because during or after this workshop, we are expected to start thinking on how to build our course, and also we will be ready to start building our course and make a product that looks like almost like this. So let me show you this course. For example, this is a sample course. It is about an astronomy, introduction to the astronomy. As you can see in the left side here, we have the course menu. The course menu where it defines the course structure, and it is really a very important component of the course, because this is considered to be the entry point for the student in that course. So from here, we designed the entry point for the different items and contents and materials that we made and tools that we made available for our students. Now, in the right side here, we have the content area. So whenever you visit any content area or visit any menu item, the system will display the content on the right side. Also, we have an option, because you are an instructor, then you are responsible to edit, build the content and material. We have the edit mode that allows you to change the edit mode. So if you want to view the course without edit mode, as you can see, there is a set of icons that allows you to edit these contents and items has been taken away. If you need to switch back to edit mode, just click on on. Also, there is an icon here which it allows you to make this course available or unavailable for your students. We know that before the term starts, for example, and also in the preparation period for the course, you might like to make this course unavailable, which means it is available on the system, but the student will not be able to access it, will not be able to see it. And once the course is started with the beginning of the term and you are almost ready to release your course, you can just make it available. And this means that your students now can access the course. Another important tool that has been created also within the Blackboard lane is what we call it the student preview. So the student preview is a very important tool that allows you to examine and to experience the course from student perspective, where you can go through the whole student experience. What does that mean? So as you can see, we have this course that already developed and built, and it's ready to be released. Now I need to see this course from the student eye, and also I'd like to participate on the different activities, either assessments or even collaboration activities as a student. So if you click on the Enter Student Preview, the system will take you to the student preview. Now this is exactly how the student will see the course, exactly. So the student, the first page for him would be the announcement. This is how he will see the announcement that has been released. Then he will be able to see his grades. Currently there is no grades, but at least the student knows that there is a set of activities that he needs to be completed in order to get the grades. And also then he can visit the units. This is the studying materials, the studying units. And he click on any item and he can start reading the introduction, the learning objectives, and also he can also start reviewing any multimedia content that might be released for him. Also, if there is any external links, then the student will be able to see these external links. In terms of assessment also, the student now will be able to, as you can see the assessment activities from student eye. So if you want to attempt to quiz one, then what will happen, you are currently viewing the quiz as a student, and you are experiencing the test as really as a student. Now this is really very important for you as an instructor, because once we build the activities or build the course, we need to make sure or to understand at least how the students will be able to see the activities, how they will see the contents. Is there any problems? The student preview allows us to identify if there is any configuration that need to be considered, or if there is any issues in displaying the items. So I have completed quiz 1. If I go to my grades now, then as you can see, I have completed quiz 1, and it says that it needs to be graded by my instructor. The reason for that, there is an essay question. So as you can see, I'm experiencing the course as a student. Now, before you exit the preview, you have a settings. Let's see what kind of settings we have. So the settings, it says that delete the preview user and all data, or you can just keep the preview user and all data. Now, what does preview user mean? What happens that once you enter on the student preview, the system will create a preview user account, a real account in your course, and that account is called a preview user, and he is enrolled in your course as a student. The reason for that, if you need to test a specific scenario, sorry, if you need to test a specific scenario, for example, how the student will see how the student will participate in a specific quiz or test, then after leaving the student preview, I need to see the student submission, so I can do the grading for the student activities, set the final grade, and review it to the student. So this option, keeping the preview user and all data, will keep that user in the course, and also will give you the chance to view the student's activities within this course. So let me just keep this one for the time being, and then I will exit the preview. Because I said to the system, keep the student preview information, then I can see now this student activity, or I can see the student grade on that specific course, as you can see. So this is the preview user, as you can see, and I can see his grade in this quiz, as you can see. Because he is a preview user, he has completed his test. Now, if I want, I can view his attempt details and view his answers, his grades. The reason that the system allow me to see this is that when I entered the student preview, and on the settings of the student preview, I have asked the system to keep everything. Now, once I test the full scenario of the student life cycle on a specific item or content I added, just select delete user preview and all data. What will happen once you exit the preview, it will remove that account and all related data. So it's really a very important tool for you to test the course that you have designed or you have developed. Allows you also to apply the full cycle of any specific activity. Either it is an assignment or assessment, or it is an engagement and collaboration activity, and see how the student will interact with that. And if there is any submission from the student, you will be able to see how to see it as an instructor. So this is the main tools and main features and components of the Blackboard Lane course. So you will pay a good attention to the course menu. This is the entry point, as we said, to the course for your students. This is where the system will display the items and the content for that specific menu item. And also you have the edit mode and on and off. And you can also experience the course as a student without the need to log out and log in with a different account. Also, at the bottom here, you will see the course management or the control panel. So the control panel is available only for you as instructor. Students cannot see this control panel and they cannot access it. The control panel allows you to control and manage and monitor your course contents and your students' performance. Now let's go and talk about how to define the course structure. So we said in the course menu, it is very important for you to define the structure of the course. In other words, building the course menu, because the course menu is considered to be the entry point for your students in that specific course. So let me just switch back to the presentation and show you this slide. So in this slide, we are defining the course structure, and there is three different approaches to define the structure of your course. The first one is called chronologically, which means that each content area will contain a week worth of reading, assignments, or assessment, or lecture note on discussion forum. So as you can see here, we have categorized the course based on a weekly basis, where each week will contain all the information, all the activities, reading materials related to that week. Now we have also the second approach, which is called by subject area. So within each course that you are teaching, there is a main subject, there is a different subject. So this will allow you, of course, to define or structure the courses, your course based on the subject. Like, for example, we have the solar here subject. So all the reading, assessment activities, collaboration, engagement activities that is related to the solar topic will be, or to the solar subject, will be found in this area. The last type is what we call it based on the type of the content. So here you are organizing the type, you are organizing your course materials based on the type of the content. So you will have the lecture notes for all the topics and the subjects and chapters that you are teaching. We have the readings materials, we have the assignments, we have the discussions. So you need to think about how you are going to organize your course. Think to provide a consistent experience for your student in all the courses that you are creating. And also you need to consider some of the question, like, what is the best way that I should use to divide my course or to organize my course? Again, this is a decision that you need to make it by yourself, because each subject has its own requirement. Each instructor has his own way to do things. Now, also think in which order you are planning to present the materials, and also you need to think if each unit or if each unit or main menu item here should follow a predictable pattern. In other words, like every time the student, for example, in a week one, they will find, for example, the reading materials followed by quiz and discussion board. The same for week two. We have the reading material, quiz, and discussion board. Also think about these kind of things. To help you to achieve this one, it is recommended, I skipped one slide, sorry for that. So to help you to achieve this one, planning is one of the most important and critical phases when you design your course. So when you're planning to design your course menu, ask your question, what do I need to provide? So let's say to provide, for example, a lecture notes or other reading materials. So what you need to do in the Blackboard lane, I need to create one or more content area. For example, to provide one-click access regularly used tools such as discussion or blogs, then I need to use the tool link on the specific. To provide a link on a regular used website, then I need to add a web link. So planning or thinking what you need to provide and how to achieve that one, or what you need to do in the Blackboard lane, this is really a very important phase in designing your course. Now, how you are going to build the course, or how you are going to change the course menu. Once you are in the course and in the edit mode, then what you can do here, you can start adding the menu items. So let me take you to the system and show you how we can do that very quickly. And it is really, believe me, it's really a straightforward and easy thing. So here in the Blackboard lane, I'm going back to the courses page, as you can see now, and I'm visiting my course. This is an empty course, so there is no course structure that already defined in this course. So what I need to do is just to add the course structure. First, I need to make sure that the edit mode is on. Then I need to use this icon to start adding menu items. In the menu items, you have different types. You have a content area, module page, blank page, tool, web link. Now, content area this is the most commonly used item because it allows you to add other contents and materials within this menu item. So, for example, if I decided to design my course chronologically based on chapters, for example, then I will use a content area. I will say chapter 1 and make sure that this one is available for my student. Then I will repeat this step again and say chapter 2. Again, make this also available to my students. Now, I can change the order of the menu items based on click and drag functionality. Also, you can add some dividers to help you to design your course menu in more visual appeal way, like this one. Now, as you can see, the content area allows you to add other contents within the course, as we will discuss on our next topic. Okay, like other type of tools like tool link or web link or course link, those will allow you to create a link for any existing tool within Blackboard lane, allow a link for allow to add a link for an external web URL on the internet, and the course link that is allowed to add it to a different areas. So this is an overview about the Blackboard lane course. This is how you can navigate within the environment. This is how you can navigate within the course. And also we have talked about the available tool for editing, and also the student preview feature, which is a very important feature. And also we talked how we can use the add menu item to change the course structure based on 3 different approaches that's available. And by the way, you can use one of them, or you can mix 3 of them or 2 of them based on your need. Now let's go and move to our next topic, which is related. Okay, I know now how to access my course. I have defined the structure of my course. Now I just need to start adding the contents and materials to my course. So this will take us to our next topic, which is presenting dynamic content, or building the content. So in building the content, now for you as a teacher, you might be responsible also to start adding or building the contents and materials to the course. And the items that you can add to your course, it can be like any reading materials, files, text, or it can be an assessment activities or assignments, or also it can be an engagement and collaboration tool. So here we will explore to you the different content types that can be available in a Blackboard lane course, and that will help you to build these different items. Also, we will see the different ways how you can attach the file and make these files available to your students. We will also explore some of the best practices for presenting the content for your students. And also we will talk about how we can edit and manipulate or manage our content using the contextual menu. So let me switch here to the Blackboard lane. I will stop the slide. I've just used the slide only to present to you the goals of the module, but I will do everything here on the system as we have a very limited time in terms of playing with the system. So once you are inside your course, okay, I think now you can see my screen. Now, once you are inside your course, and once you define the structure of the course via updating the course menu items, of course, you have added a different content areas. Now, the content areas, as we said, allows you to build a different type of content and material that is part of this course. If you go to this to the content area, you see that you can build a different type of content starting from items, files, multimedia content, content folders, mashups, and also some predefined structures of the content. You can also add a different type of assessment tools and activities within your course. You can also add different tools for engagement and collaboration inside your course, like a discussion, blogs, journals, wikis. And also you can add or create a reference for some of external textbooks or materials that you like to use within the course. Now, let's start with building the content. So consider I'm on chapter 1, and the first thing I like to do is just to add an introduction to chapter 1. So I will come to the item here, and then I would say, okay, just bear with me a second. My computer is responding very slowly here. So I would say I'd like to add the introduction. Where is the browser window? Here it is. So this is chapter introduction. Now this is the title of this item. Now here, if you already have the text, you just copy and paste it like that. This is what you need to do. Just copy and paste the text, which we already have it in a Word document, PDF, whatever. You just copy and paste it. And then you can just click on submit. In that way, we have added the first item within the chapter 1. And as you can see, it is an embedded text. Now, let's say that we need to add, for example, a lecture note. So again, I will come to the item again. I would say lecture note, lecture notes. Maybe I will add a brief description about this lecture notes. So I'm telling my student what does lecture notes mean. And also, I will upload a file that contains the lecture notes. So I will go and browse my computer and select that file from my computer, as you can see. So this is the title of the item that calls lecture note. In the text area here, I'm not adding the real content of the lecture notes. I'm just informing my student that in lecture note you will find all the details from our lecture. This includes the following topics and the following subjects. Maybe there is some specific instructions also for my students on how to read this lecture note. Then in the attachments area, I have browsed my computer and selected the file, which I will make available. Now, with most of the items, you will see what we call it as standard options. Those standard options, it's like for the items that you add, it might ask you, do you want to permit users to view this content? Now, if this content is ready to be released for my student, then I would say yes, release it. If this content is still under editing and it's not ready to be released, then I would say no. So this option allows me to create the content and release it whenever it is ready. There is other options like, for example, a track number of views. I can also select when it is available. So as you can see, this is standard options. We will see it with most of the items that is in the Blackboard lane. Now, once you add this item with the file, as you can see, just click on submit, and the system has added the second item. And here, as you can see, we have the attachment of the file. Of course, there is other type of content, like if there is a video on YouTube, then I can use the mashup. So if there is, as we said, a video on YouTube, then I'll just search for that video, okay? And once I find the video that I need to add to my course, then what I can do here is just click on select, and the system will add the link of that video. Of course, it's recommended to add some descriptions about this video. Remember, in the Blackboard, in the online learning environment, it's not about adding the content. Adding the instructions for the student and how they should deal and interact with the content is more important than the content itself. So add the instructions here in the description area, telling my student that you need to watch this YouTube video and consider answering the following question, or considering, for example, to be prepared for the next discussion, which depends on this video. Then you can choose how to display this mashup, like a thumbnail, an embedded video, or just a link. Then I can select, for example, an embedded video. I will show YouTube URL. There is a set of options and settings that you can control it. Then once you click on submit, then the system will add the video with the description, the original link, because there is a copyright issue. I need also to consider it. And the student can just preview that video through clicking. And you don't have to download this video on your computer.
Good morning and good afternoon.
As you can see, this is only a resource that's available on the internet, it has been linked to your course. So again, in the build content, you can build the content in a different ways, use these different tools. Like you can use file to upload a file, you can use an audio to upload audio, or you can use a Flickr or a SlideShare, or even use a predefined set of tools like learning modules or lessons plans and something. Now let's go to chapter 2, for example. Chapter 2, the way it is structured, for example, is somehow different. So in chapter 2, I have 2 lessons, for example, lesson 1 and lesson 2. And each lesson has a set of items and activities that the student should perform. So what I will do, I cannot just use the create item or start uploading the content or materials here, because all the materials are displayed on one area. So I need to have another level where I can organize my materials. So I can use what we call it the content folder, or even I can use the learning module. Both of them will give you the same result, but the way it is presented is a little bit different. I will focus on the content folder in this webinar. So once you create, for example, content folder, let's say this is for lesson 1, and I will add some information about this lesson 1. That might be, for example, the general discussion, the general description. Maybe this is the goals or the objectives for this specific lesson that the student need to focus on. Click on submit, and then we have the lesson 1 folder. Repeat the step again, and I will create now lesson 2 folder. Again, the same. A description is very important to tell my student. If there is no description, just list the main activities, for example, that they are expected to complete, the learning objectives that they should complete after, or that they should achieve after complete this specific lesson. So don't leave it in, provide an instructions for your student. Now inside lesson 1, as you can see, it's a new content area. So I can start adding the materials for the lesson 1. So I will add here lesson 1 materials, contents, files, whatever is needed. I will start just to upload these different materials here. Now the student, you can see, he has like a different levels. So he will access chapter 2, and once he is chapter 2, he can go to lesson 1 or he can go to lesson 2. And if he go to lesson 2, it is expected from him to see only the activities and materials that is part of lesson 2. Does that make sense? Okay, perfect. Now, after adding any material or content to the course, for example, I might need to come back and edit or change this content item or this content material. So with each item, we have what we call it the action menu or context menu or option menu. Once you click on this one, you will have the different capabilities and features. You can edit. Edit will take you back to this page where you can just change the name, add the text or update the text, Maybe you need to change some settings, attach more files with it, and once you finish, you just click on submit. Also, you can copy these materials. So if this chapter introduction, I can copy it to another place. So maybe I would say copy this one to the same course, or maybe to another course where I'm teaching, and say that I need to release it on lesson 2 page. Then the system will make a copy from this chapter introduction, which is in chapter 1. I can see now it is on chapter 2, lesson 2. This is the chapter introduction. Also, you can move, you can delete, you can also view some reports about the user progress if they have accessed this item or did not access this item. And most importantly is that you can change the availability of this item. So if you found that there is a problem with this item and that need to be revised, then what you need to do is just make it unavailable, and the system will hide it from the student. Now, as you can see, it is like faded away. The color is faded. So item is hidden from the student. Once it is updated, then I can just come back here and make it available for my student again. One also of the things that you might notice within a Blackboard lane is that you can change the order of the items. So you can just use this, move the mouse pointer to the right side of the item, and then you just click and drag to change the orders of the item. And you can do this one, as you can see, using click and drag. This is a very important features for you to consider. Lastly, I want to highlight here is that when you create any item, you will see this text editor. This is really a very powerful text editor. Again, in the text editor, you don't have to write everything from scratch. If you have anything that's already there in Microsoft Word or a PDF, you can just copy and paste it. Like, you can just copy and paste it here without any hesitation. So for example, if you have, and this is maybe a concern for many of you, so if you have, for example, any pre-formatted table, so we can just copy, as I'm doing now. I have copied a table from Microsoft Word and just paste it right here. So let me submit and show you the final result. See, this is something that is already formatted on Microsoft Word. And for editing, I just copy and pasted that in the text editor. Knowing that text editor providing a very powerful features, it's like the same features and tools that's available in Microsoft Word, where you can insert a file attachment, you can insert a video within the text, you can change the format, you can even, if you have an expertise in the HTML languages, you can deal with the HTML, insert tables, etc. And most importantly, maybe for the people who are teaching in engineering or mathematics, where they need to have an equation, for example, you can use the math editor. A math editor is a very important tool that allows you to let me change. I don't think it has been appeared to you, but let me show it to you very quickly. A math editor is a very powerful tool, allows you to enter an equations and mathematical equations using all the annotation that's available. So in the math editor, you can add those different equations. As you can see, you can use all these symbols. What you need to do is just click on the icon and the system will add it, and then you can just add it here. Also, there is other type of items that you can add, like this one, and there is the sine, cosine. There is also the symbols here. What I want to show you here is that we have the full table of the chemical chemistry, so you can just use any item from here to add those items or those chemical items. It's really a very, very powerful tool that you can rely on it when it comes to design or build your content in the Blackboard lane. I will close this window and return back to my original Blackboard lane page, because this math editor will open as a pop-up for you. Okay. That's good. We have added all the contents on materials. Now everything is ready for my student. Now, adding the content is really where you are performing a kind of asynchronous activities between you and your students. But now, Blackboard Lane also allows you to interact with your student in a synchronous way, which means like you can have a virtual classroom or you can have a web conference with your student. That allows you to provide it's like creating an environment for you and your student where they can interact at the same time with each other using a real-time collaboration. Of course, there is a lot of tools and features that's available for you, starting from audio, video, chat, sharing content, recording, raising hand. All these tools allows you to simulate or to reflect what is happening on the face-to-face classroom, on the to be happened on a virtual classroom or even on a web conference environment. And these web conference environments or the virtual classroom can be used for meetings, can be used for webinars, can be used for discussions or lectures or office hours or even demonstration, where, for example, you know that sometimes we need ask the student to do a presentation. So I need them to deliver the presentation, not only submit the presentation. I need to see them how they will do the presentation. So I need to have this virtual or web conference tool. In a Blackboard company, we are providing a tool called the Blackboard Collaborate. Blackboard Collaborate is a web conference tool, and it allows the e-teacher to collaborate to enhance the digital learning and engage students, so they can contribute in the same manner like they are in the live classroom. This is the main value of it. Now, Blackboard Collaborate is already integrated with the Blackboard Lane, and it is part of your course. And to access it, you need to go to the course control panel here in the course tools, and then you will see we have the Blackboard Collaborate. So from here, you can access the Blackboard Collaborate tool. Now, again, remember, we said that the course management area and the control panel is only available for the instructors. It's not available for the student. Now, how we can make this Blackboard Collaborate Ultra link available for our students? We have two different ways. Either we go to the course menu here and we say add, but not a content area. We need to add a tool link. So because Blackboard Collaborate is a tool within the Blackboard Lane, then we need to create a tool link. Now, once you click on the tool link, the system will ask you to enter the name or the title of the menu item. So it will be, for example, virtual meetings, for example. And the tool that I'm going to connect is called the Blackboard Collaborate Ultra. Again, the Blackboard Collaborate Ultra. Make this available for my students and submit. Now here it is, the virtual meeting. It's there. It's part of the course menu. Review. The student will be able to see this link, which is called virtual meeting. Just to click on the virtual meeting, and the system will take him to the Blackboard Collaborate Ultra page, where he can access the course room, meeting room, or any other session that has been created. But let's take one step back and see what the instructor can do within this one. So for me as an instructor, still I can access it also from here if I may. And the system will allow me to access it now as an instructor. In a Blackboard Collaborate, we call the role is moderator, because in a web conference session, you are not a teacher, you are a moderator. And the student are called a participant because they are participating on this session. Now, by default in each course, you will find what we call it a course room that has been created automatically, and it is available for you, which means you can just click on the link and the system will allow you to join the course room as I'm doing now. So as you can see now, I'm accessing now the Blackboard Collaborate homepage, or the Blackboard Collaborate course room page. And if the student also did the same from his end, he will be able to access the Blackboard Collaborate page. Now, what's really going on in this page? What kind of features and functionalities that is available for me as an instructor or also for my students? So here, as you can see at the bottom, there is the set of the sharing or set of tools that allow you to share audio, to share video, and also to raise your hand. So you can just raise your hand and get an attention from your instructor. At the top left corner of the page, there is what we call it the session menu. In the session menu, as a moderator, I can start the recording, and also I can view other related help information. Now the participants or the students, they also can view this menu item, but without the start recording. They can view the details, like if they want to join from their phone because they are facing some audio issues, they can come here. They want to learn about the Blackboard Collaborate. So here it's like they are enabling the about how to use the Blackboard Collaborate. This is will start the auto wizard or auto support here, auto help. So it will show you in the step-by-step how to navigate within the Blackboard Collaborate. And also there is the help. And from here, you can leave the session, as you can see. In the most right side, at the bottom of the page, we have what we call it the Collaborate panel. From here, as a moderator and also as a student, you will be able to see the chat window. And the chat is considered to be a very important tool in communication. Unfortunately, it has been disabled in your case in this webinar because we have a very large number of people, and the idea here is just to focus on highlighting the key features of the Blackboard lane. So in the chat, you can just write the message here and just click on enter. Of course, it allows you to add, to use a different emoji to reflect the missing part of the body language here, and it's really a good tool to consider it and use it. And also we can see here the attendee list, and the attendee list here is just not only the listing the list of the students or the participants in this specific meeting or this specific session. It also provides a very important information, like if someone raises his hand, then it will show here that someone has raised his hand. If there is any feedback from the participants, then there you will see the feedback from the participants and also the total number of feedback that you might get from your students. And also we have what we call it the experience or the quality indicator. So this one tells me that the quality indicator of this user network is excellent. Sometimes the participant, they might face some issues, and there is some recommendation on how to interact in these cases, what we should do, how we should deal with the different items. Also, as a moderator, you have more privilege where you can control the participants. You can give them a highest privilege like presenter, where they can, for example, present, have the presenter to share content and materials with other colleagues in the classroom. We have also what we call it the share content. This is a very important part. So it is a place where we all meet at the same time. We share audio, we share video, we use the chat, and we collaborate, but also we need to have a feature where we can share an application or share a whiteboard where all of us, for example, can participate, can draw in this one, write comments here, share what they think, and most importantly, you can also share also the applications. So, for example, if you like to see to present to your student how to use a specific application, or to visit any specific website, then you can just allow the share application, where it will ask you what kind of window or what kind of application to share with your students. So as you can see, I'm sharing here my desktop with you. Now I can open an Excel, for example, here, and I can show you how to start, for example, using an Excel, like I'm doing. Currently, I'm sharing to you my browser and show you how to see the different items. Also, we have another options which called share camera. So there is, in some cases, for example, like I'm sharing my camera. This is the share video here. Will share my camera so you can see in front of my computer. But at the same time, maybe I need to share another camera where, for example, I am in a computer in a lab, and I'm doing a kind of experiment, and I like to share what the other camera is presenting. Like maybe I'm doing something or doing an experience using the test tubes, and I like you to see the results. So the share camera allows you to share another camera for your students. Sharing files, this is where you can upload any presentation, you can upload any file and share it with your participants. So like here, I can just select this presentation, which I already converted to PDF. And the reason I have converted that to PDF, just to speed up the process of uploading the file, because the size of the PDF is less than the size of PowerPoint. So the system will upload the file, and once the file is there, I can just select that file and click share now. Then I will be able to select which slide to share with the team. So if I like to share this slide, just to click on the slide, and now you can see that I'm sharing my slide or the content from my computer. At any time, I can stop sharing. There is also the polling feature, where I can create on the fly polling, like yes, no question. Just write the question here, and then release the polling for your students. Now the participants will see this polling here. They can answer yes or no, and once that's completed, you can just say look the poll, and the result will be displayed for the students. This is when you need to get feedback or create an engagement and collaboration with your participants on the sessions. Lastly, the most important part is what we call it the breakout groups. This allows you to create a smaller groups within the Collaborate session. Like if I have, for example, 20 participants or 20 students in my classroom, and I need each 5 of them to work with each other, then what I can do, I can create a breakout group, so each 5 participants will work together inside this environment. Now, when I'm saying work together, they can share video, share content, share application, and only that group member will be able to see it and interact with it. And for me as a moderator, I can move between groups very easily. And lastly, we have what we call it the settings. From here, you can control the configuration and settings, like setting up your camera and microphone, edit the notification settings, and also there is a settings for this session where you can, for example, allow share audio or take away the privileges of sharing audio and video from the participants. Once the session completed, you can stop the recording, and then you just leave the session. Now, as you can see, for me as a student or an instructor within my course, I don't have to access another system. I can just access Collaborate Ultra from the link here, available for my students. And also, there is a predefined room that already exists, but still I can create other sessions if needed. Like, for example, there is an office hours. So I would say this is for office hours meeting. I would allow the students to access this office hour, and I will say their role will be participant, which means like they are student. They don't have any further privilege rather than sharing audio, video using chat. And I would say this, for example, will start on this specific date and time. Then you specify the date and time for this one. So I would say this, for example, will start at 3 p.m. at 2 p.m. every day until 3 p.m. Now, if this is a repeated session, then I can say repeat this session on a weekly basis and make it every Monday and Tuesday. Thursday, sorry, every Monday and Thursday. And I can say end after 10 sessions, like for example, or that end it on a specific date, the end of the term. Once that completed, you can just create the session, and the office hours will be available for my students. And as you can see, currently it is the color is faded away, which means it's not active. So if the students try to access it, they will not be able to access it because it will start at 2 p.m. on 12th of October, which means tomorrow. But once tomorrow came and the right time started, then they will be able to access the grade center. They will access the session, sorry. And you can create session as many as you need. One of the features that we said that also you can come to the session options here. You can edit the recurring session. You can view the reports. You can delete it. And you can copy a guest link, which means you can share it for your students by email. Also, for any session, we said that you can come and edit the details, edit also the settings and the configuration for that session. There is a lot of very interesting features like private chat, session telephony, and also the privileges of the user. You can control it from this area. Now, whenever there is a recorded session, then we need to be able to see the recording. Like, for example, I can come to this context menu or to the menu of the Collaborate scheduler, and currently I am in the sessions. Now, if I want to see the recordings, that just click on the recordings, and then you can search for the recording based on a recent recording or based on a specific range of date, if there is any recording. So from here, you have a full access to the Blackboard Collaborate sessions. Either you use the default course room, or you can just create a specific session, if you will. And also, you can view the recording. And for any session, by the way, when you view the report, there is a very important report that is about the attendance, for example. So if there is any report that has been generated from these sessions, then you can view the attendance and other details, if you will. Again, it's really a very collaborative environment, allow you to share a lot of features, to do a lot of activities and simulate real life sessions with your students in the online environment. Of course, there is some key points that you might to consider is that to do the preparation for the session, make sure that the materials is there, uploaded to the session before the time. Also ask your student to come early to the session where they check their audio settings, check if they are facing some technical issues, then you can overcome and provide the help and support for them if they are facing any issues joining the Blackboard Collaborate. And also think about it that for any student who missed any live lecture, since it is recorded, then he can view that recording at his own pace or at his own time. Okay, this is what was the Blackboard Collaborate, or creating and managing live sessions. Now let's go and move to the assessment part. So we have created the content. We have seen how to create the content and upload it to the course items. But now we need to start thinking to upload, create an assessment activities like the assignments. So let me pause here a little and let me go to the presentation just to talk about the assignments. Then we will come back to the course. So we need to go to the assignments slide. Assignments slide, that is 57. Okay. So in the assignment, we will explain the different benefits of the online assignments. We will review with you how to create and do the grading for the assignments, and also there is a different ways to present the assignment to students, and also we will implement the best practices when creating the online assignment. Okay. So first of all, benefits of assignments. So what is the real benefits of assignments? Usually we are using assignments to assist the learners. This is in the first place. I'm trying to move to the next slide. So there is the assignment is to assist the learners in a variety of meaningful ways beyond the traditional the objective test that we might release on the course. So assignments where we can ask our students, where we create a coursework and manage grade and feedback for each learner separately. So assignments might include, for example, a description, might include point value, file attachments. And assignments can be accessible within different course areas, such as the content area or folder within the different content areas that is defined. Now, assignment can really can serve many purposes, like increase time on task with an efficient way to view and submit assignments. It is also an easier implementation for alternative assessment techniques, such as case studies, problem solving, learning exercises, essays, and also research papers and group projects. Also, to promote active learning by requiring the learners to analyze, synthesize, and evaluate course contents and materials. Also providing what we call it a rubrics and example as part of assignment to let the learners know how they will be evaluated. This is also a key value, and also enabling an iterative review process between the learners and the teacher for the assignment. Also, that also has a key value and has a very important effect to the student performance within the course. Now, what kind of files that we can release for the assignments? So the first important thing that the learners might face when they are doing the assignment is that, like, what are trying, like, what do you want me to learn? This is one of the questions that might the learner have in their mind to the instructors. So first we need to inform them what they are learning. Also, they might ask the students why I'm learning this, or they might ask what do I need to know or to do to complete this assignment, how I will be graded, what does my teacher really want me to do. So there is a lot of questions that the student might have before he starts doing the assignments. And one of the best practices is that to provide all the information for the students while we are creating the assignment. Like, we need to provide the information about how the assignments is really ties to the goals and objectives of the course. We need to provide them with the instructions about the required length or size of the submission. It's also recommended to share with them some suggested resources, and also mention to them any preference for source citations, and also providing a model or an example of a successful assignment. This is also very important. Creating a rubric where it shows the student how they will be evaluated in this specific assignment is also recommended. Now, the student, they can upload the assignment file in a document format, PowerPoint, Excel, PDF. So also even tell the students or tell your students about the submission deadline, the format of the file, and also if they need to work individually or in a group-based assignments, how to submit their work, and also when you are going and when you are going to provide them with the feedback about their work. So these are key points that, or best practices that you might consider while you are creating the assignments and also providing the instructions for your students about that assignment. So the assignment, so the instructor will create an assignment, and this assignment, it can be individual or a group. Now, individual means that each student in that classroom, he should submit his work. If it is a group assignment, means a group of students will work to submit one submission or one solution for that assignment. Now, the assignment will be submitted via online text, or even it will be uploaded to the system through the assignment tool. And then the instructor will start doing the review for the assignment work, giving the feedback, annotation, and the grades for his students. Now, how to make this assignment available for our student, or where to make the assignment available for our students? Now, that can create, or you can group all the assignments in one content area on the course menu. So as you can see here, in the course menu, we have what we call it assignments. So inside the assignments, the student expects to see all the assignments for all the chapters, or for all the weeks, or for all the units. And another way to provide an assignment for your student is to create it in a flow of the course content. Like, for example, if the student is on chapter 1, for example, or week 1, then there might be like a lecture notes, and then he might see the assignment activity. So it is part of the content. Also, some instructors, or the best practice is that you can do a combined approaches where you create where you create all the assignments in a grouped menu item like the assignments, and then using what we call it the course link, you create a link for those different assignments in the flow of the different course areas. Now, creating an assignment. Once you create an assignment, you can start doing updating this assignment, configuring the settings and information for the assignment, and then add it to the users or to the students within any context area. And the assignment, there is a lot of configuration and settings that we will explore it with you after the next couple of slides. Then we will show you how to use these configuration and settings to set up the assignment. Now, of course, assignment can be moved to a different content area. It can be edited and can be deleted. Note that assignment cannot be copied. So this is important. So if you create an assignment on a specific content area, you cannot copy it to another content area within the same course. But you can create a link for it, but not copy it, because the assignment is a graded activity, which means once you create the assignment, the system automatically will create a column for that on the grade column. Now, once the student completed the assignment, it is the phase of grading the assignment. Now, within the Blackboard lane, we have provided what we call it the online grading, the grading assignment online, which means that You don't have to download the student submission on your computer in order to review their answers. You can work using the Blackboard Annotate, which allows you to do a live annotation on the files that the student that he already submitted. You can do the grading, give him feedback, write a comments, annotate on his work, and give him the grade, as I will show in the next slides. And all the annotation that you made, it will be available for the student once they view it. Now, providing a feedback and the notes is really very important. It's very important for the assessment and the teaching process for the student. That's why many institutions, they encourage to have what we call it the multiple attempts. Multiple attempts means that you give the student an opportunity to submit their work multiple times, where they might need to complete their work on a multiple phases or staged phases, or even you can do the grading for each attempt separately and then calculate like the average or the final based on the configuration. But an example of how to use the multiple attempt is that, for example, you might ask a student or might ask a research paper assignment, maybe required from your students, with 4 different files. Now, each file submission could be on a different part of the project. Like, for example, attempt number 1, the student need, for example, to release the outline. In attempt number 2, then the student should provide the bibliography, and maybe attempt number 3 will be a rough draft, and attempt number 4, for example, a final paper. And whenever you allow multiple attempts, there is a different ways to do the grading. Like you can select to do the grading for the last attempt, or the highest grade, or the lowest grade, or the average, or even grade multiple attempts, if you will. So grading multiple attempts is really available in Blackboard Lane, and you have all the features to do that. Another important feature in the Blackboard Lane assignment is what we call it the anonymous grading. Anonymous gradings, like for example, this has happened when you want to add another layer of fairness and impartiality to your grading. So you can use the anonymous grading feature, which means without knowing who submitted an assignment. So you are doing in reality the grading or review for the student work without knowing the student name or any information about the student. So this is very important if you, for example, to want to avoid or the class participation or conflicts of race or gender within the learner aptitude. So enabling the anonymous grading is really allows you to do the grading for the student. So like once you enable the anonymous grading, then they will receive then you will receive a notification. The student will grade. You will start then grade the submission, and once you verify anonymous grading, then it will be released for the students. So once it is anonymous grading enabled, then you will not be able to see the students' names until you release the grades, or until you define a specific condition, like for example, release the grades on a specific day, or you can say release the names on after all submission has been graded in the course. There is also another important feature in the assignment. We call it the I skipped the slide. We call it the delegate grading. Delegate grading, we know that there is some use cases where we have like more than one grader and for a specific activity or assignment. This is, of course, to promote reliability and remove any bias in the class. So you will have 2 or more multiple graders who will grade either the same student submission or different student submission. And once you delegate this one, then each of those graders will receive the student submission work, do the grading. Again, the grader they should be assigned to that course or enrolled to that course as a grader. They are not instructors, they are graders. Their role should be a grader. They can be also the teaching assistant or another instructors, but it's recommended to give them the grader. Now, each grader will start review the submission of the student work, add the feedback and the grade, and finally, the instructor of the course, he can reconcile the final grade and the final feedback for the student in their submission within the course. Okay, let me go and show you how we can do this one or do the assignment in the Blackboard lane. Enough talking about slides and presentation, and let me share my browser with you. So currently I am accessing my course. I can come to any content area that I already created. We said that maybe one of the best practices is to group all the assignments in one grid content area. So I will create one area. And in this assignments area, what I will do, I will start just creating the assignments. And to do this, I can use the assessment. And from the assessment, select the assignment. And then you just write the assignment name. Like this is, for example, Chapter 1 assignment. Provide the instructions. We said that it's recommended to provide the instructions for the student about the assignment. Tell them how this is tied to the goals, what they need to achieve, how to solve it, how to submit their work, and any instructions help them to be successful. Then I'll start to add the assignment file. So the assignment file, it can be like maybe the questions, if you will. Like this is an assignment file, for example. It can be an example of or a model for the correct answer or the ideal work, or maybe it can be attached any file that help the student to solve this assignment successfully. Then you specify the due date, and once you here add the due date, automatically the system will add an event for this one, so they will get notified through the activity stream. So let me just specify the due date. Now the system doesn't prevent the student from submitting the assignment after the due date, but what it will do, it will mark them, if they submitted after the due date, it will mark them as a late submission. Now here we specify the possible number of points. I would say this worth 60 points, 20 points, 100 points, whatever points. If there is any rubric, you can just add this rubric or link it to this assignment. And here we have the submission detail. So specify the type of the assignment. Is it individual or a group? Individual means that each student should submit his work. Group, if we have a groups, then the whole group, they need to submit only one submission. And once they grade it, each of them will get the same grade. Now, we have also here the number of the attempts. By default, it's single. But if you allow multiple attempts, you need to specify how many attempts. And also, you need to specify the scoring of the attempts. Do you want to grade them based on average, highest, lowest, based on your configuration and settings? Let me select single attempt here. Then we have what we call it the grading options. Do you like to enable anonymous grading, and when to disable this anonymous grading, like on a specific date or after all submission is being graded? And also you can enable what we call delegate grading, which means you can assign another graders in this course where they can do the grading for the student submission or for the student work. I will just disable those options now. And then you specify how to display these grades on the Grade Center. We will talk about that in the next topic about the Grade Center. And once everything is being configured, you can just click on Submit. And then we would have the assignment created on the what we call it the assignments. Now I can come to Chapter 1 here also, if you will. And what I can do, I can build the content and here use a course link. Now, in the course link, what I can do, I can just point out to any previous created item within the course. So I can just select the assignment that already created, like this chapter 1 assignment. I have already chosen this one and just added a link. So this is a link for the original assignment. Okay, and just click submit. Now the student, they can access the assignment from within the chapter as it flows with the content of that chapter, or they can go directly to the assignments area and they can see all the assignments. This is a good option if you have a very large number of chapters, a very large number of assignments. So you don't want the student to spend time just to try to look on how to access this assignment. Now, if I want to test this assignment, the best tool is to use the student preview. So this is what I'm doing now. I'm using the student preview, and I will view this assignment as a student. And then this is how the student will see it. He will see the details, the points, and then there's the assignment file that already attached with it. I can write my submission, or I can just upload my answer right here. So once on submit, and the assignment file has been uploaded. Now remember that student preview allow me to have the full life cycle. So what I will do, I will ask the system to keep the preview user and all data, because I need to experience this one as a full life cycle. One of the most important things that with each student assignment submission, there is a unique ID will be generated. We recommend the students to take this ID and keep it just in case if there is any support problem. This will be a reference for their transaction. Okay, let's exit the student preview and go back to the instructor. Now, as we said, this is the assignment that has been created. Okay, now to do the grading for the assignment, what I need to do, I need to go to the special area in the content in the control panel called needs grading. From here I can access it. Or if you remember, we said on the activity stream, for example, if there is any update like this one, for example, today, new submission, here it is. So it says a new submission ready to grade, chapter 1 assignment. So I get the notification right away from the activity stream. Once you click on this one, the system will bring me to this page, which is called needs grading. Now this is the preview user. Now once you click on the student attempt, the system will display the student submission, and this is what we call it, the grading assignment in line. And with the new feature of the Blackboard Annotate, it allows me to use the different annotation tool, as you can see, different colors, and allows me also to draw any specific, for example, items, or draw any items, for example, if you will. So I can draw any items. I can add a text here, and also I can draw a rectangle or do whatever I want. Also, I can add some comments here, as you can see. So if like, I can add my comments. I can print it. I can download this work, and also for the annotation, I can also not a draw. Also, I can add some text right away here. For example, here, this one. And once I complete, I can set up the final grade for my student and give him the feedback of his work. Now click on submit, and the item has been graded. Now let's go back to the student preview and see how the student will be able to see the grade and also will be able to see the feedback from the instructor. Now I'm switching back to the student preview, and then I will go to tools, and within the tools we have my grades. Now, as you can see, the student has completed assignment 1. His grade is 50 out of 60, and this is the feedback from the instructor. Now, if the student needs to see more details about his submission, he can just click on the assignment title, and the system will display all the annotation and the feedback that has been provided in his original submitted file. So he can see all the annotation, all the comments that has been released by his instructor in that specific course. View an outline, you can view the annotation, and you can view the thumbnail. Now, see, I have created an assignment and set all the configuration and settings, did the grading for my student, and luckily, because of student preview, the system was able to keep the student information and take me through the whole life cycle. Once I finish, I can just select delete the preview user and all data if I will, and that will delete everything. Okay, so this is the assignment. I would recommend to take a 5 minutes break, and then we will continue. So we will take a 5 minutes break only. So now in my time, it is 4:46, and we will continue at 5:01. Okay, I will just mute my mic. Okay, we are back. Our next topic will be about the discussion board and facilitating online discussions. In this topic, we will identify the benefits of the discussion forum, and also we'll discuss how to create a meaningful discussion experience, the creating and managing and grading the discussion, and lastly, developing questions using Bloom taxonomy. So, sorry, my computer is responding very slowly. That's why I'm moving between the slides. So it is critical also, we know that it's critical to plan and structure the course content, but at the same time, we need also to provide a structure for online discussion. Remember, we are working in an online environment, and we need to foster the collaboration and engagement between the students and each other, and with the students and the instructor. Online discussion provides unique benefits. So the learners, they can take time to ponder or to think before they are posting ideas. And because of that, as an instructor, you will be able to see more thoughtful conversation that's happening on the discussion board. So the discussion is the benefits that we can get of the discussions is that it is an online meeting place for social interaction and among peers. And this is replicate or simulate what's happening on the real classroom. It is also an additional medium for collaboration and exchange of the ideas, because the student will be able to share their questions and reflect what they have learned. It is it's really an additional medium for collaboration. Also, it is a medium to pose questions about homeworks, assignments, reading, and course content. So if the student have any questions about the course material or homeworks or assignments, they can pose their questions. The instructor and other students, they can help them and answer these questions. So it is considered to be a way or the application of the course material. And recorded discussion is also can be used by the users so they can review it at later time. So these are the key benefits of the discussion that the students, they can get from the using or participating on the discussion forums. Now, from where we can access the discussion. To access the discussion, there is two ways. You can access it from a customizable link that is created on the course menu, the tools area. And also you can create a link for that, what we call a discussion. And also as an instructor, you can access it from the course tools, from the control panel. It's the same concept like the assignment. So we can have one area where all the discussion is created in that area, and then the students, they can access from that one area for all the discussions, or we can create a link for the discussions within the flow of the course content. Now, the discussion, when we create a discussion, we create a forums. So in the forum, this is like the main discussion topic. And inside that forum, the students or the instructors, they can start a new threads like a subtopics or the real start of the conversation. And a thread can include an initial post where all the other participants or other students, they can reply to that post or reply even to each other. So this is how the discussion life cycle started. It started from the forum. The forum is the main topic for the discussion. In the threads, this is the real start of the conversation. And thread can reflect or can answer part of the main discussion points, or even can represent any student participation on that forum. Other students or other users in the course, they can start replying to that original thread and share their ideas. Now let's think how to create the discussion. To create the discussion, what we need to do is just to add the discussion to the discussion board. And then you need to determine the settings that come with the discussion. There's a lot of settings as we will review it with you in the next slides. Then the students or the instructor, they can start now creating a new threads, and then the process of moderate the threads for a new post will start to happen. Item to consider when creating the discussion forum are grouped into related areas in the page. So make it easier for you to scan and select option settings that are not available based on the current selections are grayed out to have strike-through text. Now, additional settings that are important to consider when choosing a discussion setting, like can learners delete or edit their own post? These settings may be automatically configured if certain other option has been selected in the discussion forum. For example, when you apply the first post setting, then authors will not be allowed to delete their own post. Also, will you allow anonymous post? There is some cases when there is like a controversial idea topics, or if there is any topics that is critical to the subject, then you might need to allow anonymous posting. And also, of course, if you allow anonymous posting, then in this case the discussion forum cannot be a graded forum, because the forum or the discussion can be a graded activity. But if you allow anonymous, it cannot be graded. And also, you need to think, how much control do you want to exercise in the forum? So in the forum settings, you can allow you to use discussion board in different ways. Like as a teacher, you might choose to create all threads, for example, and then the students will participate on those threads. Or you can just allow the student to create their own threads. And this is really based on the grade options that you made to that discussion forum. Also, you need to consider like, will the learners be required to make their own post before they can read their classmate post? Or also, will you allow learners to publish their own post, or it will be moderated before it being published to other students? These kind of settings and questions that you might to think and consider while you are creating a forum. Now, once the forum is created, there is different ways where you can interact with the forum. So in the forum page, you can expand or collapse all and manage the visibility of the post on the page. You can click on the thread and point to post likes to see reply, quotes, and also other available functions. I will explore to you these functions in the demo side and with these different activities. We said that discussion can be a graded activity, which means you can set a grade for any discussion. Again, this is another assessment type of activity that you can create on the course. Now, when you create the forum or the discussion, you have the option either to grade a discussion forum, or you can grade a thread. And based on the setting, you will have different options. Also, you can set the notification threshold, like if you need users to at least share like 3 posts before their participation is being graded, then you can set the threshold when needs grading alert should be released for you. In the graded discussion, the concept or the process of creating the discussion forum, it's a little bit different, because you need to create, then the student will participate, then you do the grade, and then the student will view the grades. Let's go to the system and see how we can create this graded discussion, or first create a discussion and then show you how to do a graded discussion and do the grading for that discussion. One of the menu items that you might see by default in the course is called the discussions. This item is a tool link that already created by default. But still, and from this discussion, by the way, you can access all the discussion topics or the discussion forums that has been created. But of course, you can use the from the course menu, you can use the tool link, and you can create the link for the discussion board if you like. Okay. Another way to create a link for that discussion is that you can come to any context area, any content area, and from the tools you can use the discussion board to create a forum. Now, the best practice is that you go to the discussions area and you start to creating the forum. So let's say this is like a general forum where the student can ask any question about this course. So this is what we call it, for example, course general questions, for example. In the description area, I would tell my student, inform my student how they should participate on this forum. I mean, if they are going to participate on this forum, there is some specific guideline, some etiquette that they need to follow. Then I will give the instructions for my student, telling them the purpose of this forum, how they should participate, how they should reply to others, and if there is any specific questions, instructions that they need to follow. Once that completed, I will move to the settings, like controlling the forum availability. Some forums can be available on a specific date time. Then we have what we call it the forum setting. The standard view means that once the student accesses the forum, he will be able to see any other student's post before they participate on this forum. We have another option where it says that participants, they must first create a thread, then they will be able to see other threads on the forum. This is really very helpful, and for example, on a graded activities on a graded forum. And also, this is very helpful to make sure that each student will post his ideas. Some students, they will go to the forum, just read other student threads, and then they will do a summary and then post it to that forum. To prevent this kind of case, we need to select this option. I will select the standard view. Now, because this is a general forum course, then there is no grading. Also, there is some configuration for subscribe, and there is some options for create and edit. Now, note, if I select the option here or change the option, some of the options in the create and edit has been grayed out, which means that you cannot change it like that. And also, for example, if you allow anonymous posts, it might also affect other settings and configuration. So that's what you need to configure in the discussion forum, and then we have the first forum. Now we can create also a graded forum, like this is a chapter 1 reflection. So in this forum, I would ask the student to share what they have learned, to summarize what they have learned, and share it with other students. At the same time, allowing other students to reply or to participate, and also provide any feedback for other students' posts. I will make this one available, and I will make sure that all the participants first must create before they view other threads in the forum. And I would say this is a great discussion forum worth like 20 points. If I specify the great discussion forum, then I can set a setting when the system should notify me if this activity needs grading or not yet. This means that the student, they have to post at least 2 posts before their activity get graded by the instructor. And if there is any due date, this is also will add an event. And also for any post that happened after that due date, the system will mark it as a late submission or a late participation. You can also add a rubric, because for the discussion forum, we need to tell the student how they are going to be evaluated on their participation in that specific discussion forum. Then you can review other settings and configuration if you want. Once we create the discussion forum, we can make these discussion forums available from the discussions area, or we can just come to any specific area and create a link. So what I can do, just come to discussion board here in the information area. I would say create a link for course general questions. This is a link again. This is a link for a pre-created forum. So we have a link. So the student, they can access it from different content area, or they can come to the discussions. Now let's go and see how the student will see that discussion forum and how they will interact with that one. So I will switch to the student preview here and go to the discussions. And I will participate on chapter 1, reflection, for example. As you can see, sorry. As you can see, the student cannot see any other threads until they create their own thread. And this is the description, this is the question, or this is the instructions about their participation on this forum. So once I click on create thread, the system will say this is the instructions, or this is the questions, and then I will create my thread. And here I'll start to add the different text or my post to that thread. Of course, I can attach some files. I can save this one as a draft, and then I can also click as submit, where it will be published. Now, let me exit the preview and go to the instructor and see how I will see that post. Now, as an instructor, I can see in chapter 1 there is one unread post. So the total number of posts is 1, and one of them is unread. So I will go to chapter 1. I can see there is a thread that has been created by this student, and click in the thread name, then I can see his participation. I can reply to him, I can quote as an instructor. Of course, as an instructor, I can edit and delete, but other students, they cannot edit and delete. They can just reply and quote. If I have the ability to email the author. Also, I can do a rating for his participation. And this is a good features where just the student can search for a specific post that has been rated with a specific rate. So once you apply to that student, so this is the instructor reply, goes here, for example. Then the student now will see that this is his original post and this is the reply from the instructor. Again, I will switch back to the instructor view, to the student view, see how the student will see it. As you can see, it is back and forth process between the student and his colleagues. So this is my original post. This is the feedback from the instructor. Now I can reply to my instructor or can reply to other students' feedback. So this is my second reply, for example. And now because this is my second reply, the system will inform the instructor that this student has 2 posts and it needs to be graded. And as you can see, there is the indentation between the posts. So I can tell that this reply is to this post and this reply is to this post. Of course, as a student, I can search for any thread based on a specific date or times. I can view the unreads. I can also set a flag. I can expand all the participation on the forum. So there is a lot of activities. Now, what's important is to be able to view this one as an instructor now and see how the instructor will do the grading for the student activity. So I will exit the preview and show you how to do the grading for the student. Again, to do the grading, we need to go to the needs grading area, because this student post in this discussion has reached the threshold, which is 2 posts. Then the system will notify me about that there is a new participation, a specific discussion forum needs to be graded. Once I click on the student attempt, what the system will do, it will collect all the student posts, So I can review it an instructor, and based on my review I can give him the grade that he deserves and also give him feedback. Once that completed, save, and I have done the grading. In the other side, the student, he will be able to go to Tools, My Grades, and from here we have his participation on the discussion, chapter 1. This is his grade, and this is the feedback. And if he click on the chapter 1 reflection, the system will collect all his posts and will show him the grade detail and the feedback from the instructor. So discussions is really a very powerful tool to engage and create a collaborative environment between the students and their instructor. And also discussion can be used also for a assessment, as an assessment activity, and to promote also the higher level of thinking, or it can promote the different level of thinking based on Bloom's taxonomy. So let me go to the next topic, which is creating the tests. Again, test is another an assessment tool that can be created and managed within the course by the instructor. In this module, we will cover or outline the assessment life cycle. We will talk about the different questions that's available, how to create and deploy a test on an online course, how to request or to use the questions across multiple tests or multiple courses, how to create a pool for tests, and analyze the student attempts. So assessment measures the knowledge at specific points in a time. So, however, assessment also can be used as a tool to improve subsequent learning. So in online teaching, the role of the teacher is to shift toward guide and mentor. By using an online assessment, you have the opportunity to use a test as also a teaching tool rather than purely as an evaluation mechanism for your students in the class. Like providing pre-test, this is like providing a snapshot for the learners about their current understanding of the topic and prime them to receive the new knowledge. So learners, they can drive personal satisfaction by comparing their pre-test scores with the post-test scores. So this is one of the strategies that you can consider. Test also allows the learners more than one attempt to provide an opportunities for learning and reassessment. So if you create a test with multiple attempts, then you are giving an opportunity for the students to learn and reassess. Frequent tests also is not only a test what learner knows, it also enhance later retention. So providing a variety type of the assessments in the course is really very important, because frequent opportunities for learners to test their knowledge can be especially effective in online course and inform learners that they will be tested often with less emphasis on the grade itself. So these are the points that you need to consider. Also, by developing a testing strategy that offers a frequent opportunities for learners to test themselves, developing a feedback for learner is also an emphasis on long-term retention. So also think about how you are going to use the test as a learning tool through providing the feedback. And feedback here doesn't mean give the student the right answer, just guide them how to find the right answer. So when you create a test, there is a set of questions that you need to consider. Like, do I need to create a test or a survey? Because the test and survey are almost the same. The main difference that Test is a graded question. Survey, you are not doing a grading for the question, you are collecting a feedback. Also, you need to provide or think, is there any special instructions that needed to be provided for my students? Also, how many questions will my test have? What type of questions will be included? Now for test, what is the point value associated with each question? Will partial credit be acceptable for some or all test questions? And also, there are some test questions very difficult and appropriate to count as an extra credit. So these kind of questions that you need to ask it to yourself before you start creating or releasing the test. Assessment life cycle or the test life cycle start from creating that test. Then once the test is created, you can deploy it. Deploy it means that make it available for the students. And then the students will take the test through having single attempt or multiple attempts. Now, if you created a test with auto-graded type of a question, then the system will do the grading. If you added a manually graded question, then you need to go and do grading for these specific questions answers. And once that's completed, the student will be able to review their grade and feedback in the test as per their attempts. So let's go and see what do we mean by create test. So create test means add the test. Then you need to specify the question settings. You need to add the questions and order of the test. So this is step number 1, which is related to creating the test. Let me go to the system and show you how we can create the test. Before doing that, let me jump to this slide, which explains the different type of questions that's available on the Blackboard lane. So the questions, we have two types of questions. We have the standard type and we have the advanced type. Now, standard type, like the essay question, requires a learner, for example, to enter an answer into a text box. So a learner can type directly onto text box. We have also like the fill in a blank, matching question, short answer, true, false. Now note that in the standard type and advanced type, we have some questions with asterisk at the end, like essay, short answers, 5 response. Those what we call it manually graded question, which means that the system will not be able to calculate the student grade towards those questions. So the instructor need to enter or to do the manual grading for the student participation. Other type of questions, the system will do an auto grading for these tests. So let me show you how we manage and create the tests on the Blackboard lane. First of all, once you need to create a test, you need to go to the control panel. You need to go to the course tools, and from the course tools, you will access test surveys and pools. So this is the only way where you can access the tests that you created on the course. So let's focus on the first part, which is creating the test. So I will go to the tests here. And I can import a test that already exported from Blackboard lane or just build a new one. So I will build the test for chapter 2. So this is chapter 2 test. Here you will add the description about this test and add any instructions that your student should follow while they are taking this test. And the next step here, you need to start adding the questions to the test. The first thing to do is just to review the question settings and make sure that the settings fits with your needs. So if you go to the question settings, you can see that you provide feedback for individual answer, if you will. You have the option also to add images and files and web links to the answers or to the individual feedback. For the scoring, you can specify the default points. The default is 10 points. So you can specify the default point for each question you create. Of course, you can change it at later time. And there is other options about displaying and providing negative and partial credit. Once you are satisfied with the settings, you can start to create the question. So either you start to create the question through adding the question one by one, or you can just use the questions from a other list or from pools, or you can just upload the question from a text file. Of course, the text file should be formatted on a specific format that is compatible with the Blackboard link. And there is an instruction. So if you go to the upload files here, if you go click on the more help, then the system will give you the instructions on what kind of instructions that you need to follow, as you can see here. So these are the instructions to create the question file. And this is the specific format for each question. But let's go and create the questions manually one by one. In the Blackboard lane, we have around 17 types of questions. We say that from the basic to the advanced type. So let me start with the true false, which is a basic question. Here, you start through adding the question text. So this is the question. I would say Amman is the capital of Jordan. So this is a sentence saying that Amman is the capital of Jordan. The answer of this sentence, of this question, is true. As you can see, I have specified the question, at the same time I have specified the correct answer. That's why this type of question also considered to be an auto-graded question. The system can do the grading for this question because you already provide the question and the answer. There is other options that you can specify with the question, like a question title. That will not appear for the student, that will appear to you. Now, question title can be anything. You can say, this is, for example, see at chapter 101, for example, lesson 1, for example, or module 1. You just add any title for that question if you like. That will help you to do some search and do categorization for the question based on the title. And then here, the question, after you add the answer and the question, you can provide the feedback for the correct response and the incorrect response. And we said that think about your assessment strategy and use the Blackboard Lane assessment tool as a teaching tool. Providing a feedback is very important to the students. Again, in the feedback, you should not tell the student what is the correct answer, just tell them how to find the correct answer. For each question, you can add categories and keywords. These categories and keywords will help you if you need to reuse these questions in different places on different areas. Like, for example, I can say the level of difficulty of this question is easy. Once you add it, that's it. Of course, you can add other tags if you will. You can say the topics. This is, for example, from module 1, chapter 1. You can give it some keywords, Jordan. And of course, these keywords that you identified here, you can just easily reuse it in other questions. Here we have what we call it instructor notes. This is where you add some information for the instructor or for the grader about this question. It is an internal information not released to the student. Once you finish, just click on submit, and the system will create the question. Let me check something very quickly. I thought I already have some file for the tests that I can use it. Let me check here very quickly, just. Okay. So as you can see, we have created a question. This is the question, and this is the possible answers. Again, do the step again, create a question. For example, multiple choice. In the multiple choice, it's the same concept. You just write the question here. So the question goes here. So let me get the question. So it says the question is, which ocean basin is remnant of the universal ocean Benthelesia? Okay, this is an example. I get it from somewhere. Then you start to define the options for this question, like, do you want to allow numbering, like the answers 1, 2, 3, A, B, C? How do you want to display the answers? Also, we have an option called allow partial credit, which means if the student has selected not the correct answer, a partial answer, then he will get the partial credit for that question. Also, you can enable negative score for incorrect answers if you like to enable this option. And then you have an option to show answers in random. Then you start to specify the number of the answers and the text for each answer. So for example, this is Arctic, this is Atlantic, Indian. So as you can see, I'm writing the answer in each option. And then we have the Pacific. And then you need to specify which one is the correct answer. If answer 1 is the correct, just make sure to select the correct. If answer 2 is the correct, make sure to select the radio button that is beside it. Once you're done, again, you can provide the feedback. You can identify the categories, the level of difficulty. See, there is an existing level of difficulty because I have already created that one. There is an existing topic that I have created. And then you just click on Save and Submit. Now the test has been created, and you continue adding the questions to the test as much as you need. Now you will notice that the test is not deployed. And this is a very important part of the security. That's to make sure that the test is created, but it's not there, not accessible for anyone. When the time has come for the test, I can do the deployment. So I can go now to chapter 2, for example, and in the assessment, select test. And from here, I can start the deployment process. Deployment process means make the test available and configure the settings and options for the test availability. Let's go and see how to deploy it and what kind of configuration and settings we might see. So we have the name, that already there. We have the description, so you can add the description of the test. We have the instructions, so you can select to show the description and the instruction for the student. You can select to open it on a new window, and then the test availability. Of course, I will not make it available until the right time, or maybe I can make it available now and add some other level of security. And also, I will make it available for demo purpose. Also, the system will create a new announcement, if you will. And if this test has single attempt, then don't check multiple attempts. If it has multiple attempts, specify the number of the attempts. And again, remember, if you specify one number of attempts, then or multiple attempts, then the system will ask about the scoring for these attempts. I will disable this one and give him only one attempt. Forced completion means that once the test is started, the user should complete that test before he starts any other attempt. Also, we can set the timer. This is where we said that the test should be completed in 10 minutes. With auto submit means that once the 10 minutes pass, the system automatically will post the student answer and take him out from the test. You can also control the availability of the test link, and also you can add a password where the student, they need to enter the password in order to access that specific test. There is what we call it the test availability exception. So let's say that we have created this test, but there is some users with disabilities, and I just need to make sure that those students have more extra time. So I can add that user, for example, who have a disability, and I can say I will give him not only 10 minutes, I will give him 15 minutes, and I will take away auto submit because this student or this user has some disabilities, so I need just to give him an exception. Or maybe I will give him multiple attempts. So you can add exception to the students or groups even, and control the attempts, the time, the availability, and auto submit. The due date again will add an event for this one, and it does not. Of course, it does not. It doesn't allow the student to take a test once the due date has passed. Remember, in the assignment, we said that the due date does not prevent the student to submit his work, but it will add a late submission. On the test, no. If you specify the due date, this means that the student will not be able to attempt that test if the due date has passed. And you can enable this option here. Self-assessment. Sometimes we need to give the student an opportunity to evaluate their progress, and also at the same time we don't need to include their grades on the grade center. And also for privacy settings and configuration, we might select to hide results for this test completely from the instructor. Now remember, if you decided to hide it and the student start to take the test, the system will not retrieve the grades. The grades will not be shown to you anymore. Okay, so make sure that don't use this option unless you don't care about the student grades or to review their grades or their result attempts. For formal tests, don't use it. Keep it as it is. So this is the default setting. Keep it as it is. Another important option for the test is to select the feedback, when the student should see the feedback and what kind of the feedback. By default, you will see there is one trigger that releases the feedback, but you can add multiple events, like on a specific date, after a due date, or after availability. So you can select when to release the feedback for the students. And here you can select what we can release for the student. Like, do you want to show them all answers? Do you want to show them correct answers? Do you want to show submitted answers? Do you want to show feedback? Also incorrect question. Of course, these configuration and settings need to be reviewed and taken into consideration for different type of assessment. If this is a summative assessment, of course, we don't want to release, for example, the correct answers, and even maybe we don't want to show the incorrect answers. Just show the submitted results with the feedback. That's it. If this is a formative assessment, then we might, yes, we need to show them the correct answer and the incorrect questions only, just to highlight to the student. So you just, for the presentation or demo purpose, I will select all these options for the time being. Then you have an option to select how you want to present the test. Do you want to display all the questions at once, or you just want to display one question at a time? And if you decided to use one question at a time, you can prohibit backtracking, preventing the student to go to previous question answers. I will select all at once, and then you can have to randomize the questions. Once you click submit, then the system or the test is being deployed and made available for the students. Let's go and see how the student will interact with the tests. So I will just switch to student preview here very quickly. And from the course menu, I will go to the chapter 2. And then, as you can see, because it's deployed now here, I can access it. Once the student click on the test, he will see the instructions, the times, and then he can start with the test. This is the test information, the test time, the multiple attempts, the forced completion, and everything. Now, it tells me this is the remaining time, and currently the question completion status, there's 2 questions, none of them has been completed. If I selected any question or answer for the question, it is recommended for me to click Save Answer. But if I did not do that, then the system automatically will do the save, as you can see. So after a while, the system will check with me and do automatic save. This is really very helpful to avoid any loss of the student participation if there is shortage in power or error in connection or something like that. Now I can save and submit. and then the system will verify that this is the final submission. I cannot review the question or change the answers. Okay, once you click OK, according to the feedback that has been defined, I can start to see the different feedback on the questions. Like, as you can see, this is the selected answer and this is the correct answer. This is the select answer and this is the correct answer. I'm getting 10 out of 10 and 10 out of 20. The total is 20 out of 20. It has been completed, and this is the time that has been taken from me, consumed by me to complete this test. Once that completed, that's it. Now, if I try to access it again, the system will not allow me because there is only one attempt. Either it will ask me to go back to the course or review all attempts. Now, since this is a graded test, the system automatically will add this one to my grades. So I can see now my grade on the chapter 2 test, which I'm getting 20 out of 20. So this is the basic of the test. We learned how we can create a test, we can then deploy it, and then make it available for the student. Now, of course, for each test, we have what we call it item analysis. This allows the system to analyze the student attempt, and it will give you some statistical information about the analysis, like the average, the median, and also it will give you some information about the quality of the test and the quality of the questions. But usually you need to wait like 24 hours until you get these results. You cannot get it right away because that the system will request you to take your request and put it in a queue. Once the resource is available, the system will analyze the results and share it with you. Okay. Now in the test also, in the test surveys and pools, you can also create surveys. Surveys same as tests. The only difference, they are not graded. And there is some specific type of question that works with survey, like Likert scale type of question. Pools is like building your question bank, and the system allows you to create different pools, and you can import pools. The idea behind pools is allow you to create different categorization for the question and make those questions available, so you can reuse it whenever you need in the test. So in the test, rather than creating these questions from scratch, then you can just import it or reuse it from an existing pool within the course. And also question pools, it can be created and shared between different courses. So for example, if there is some like university level courses where you will have multiple sections from that subject, or general courses, then the question pool can be created, a group of people, and then it can be distributed to other instructors so they can use it to build their own tests. Okay, so this is what we have about the tests. Let's go now and move and talk about our last topic here, which is the grade center. Let me just share my slides with you. Bear with me a second. I'm almost there. Okay. Okay. So we have the grade center. The topics we are covering on the grade center, we will show you how to navigate through the grade book or the grade center interface, how we can employ method to organize the grade book, how we can select the grading methods for calculating the learner's grade, configuring the grade book, and also how to add different columns like the manually added or ungraded activity to the grade book, and identify a grading book that can be generated, and how we can import and export the grade book. So thinking about the grade center or the grade book. So the grade book is a powerhouse within the Blackboard lane that allow teachers to reduce the amount of time they spend in grading learner performance. And also it allows the learners to obtain immediate feedback on their work. So the gradebook is more than a gradebook. It provides a means to record data, monitor learners, calculate grades, identify learners' lot access, and provide immediate 24 feedback to learners, and give the learners a mean for reviewing upcoming and missing items. So it's not only a place where you can just set the grade. Think about it like a monitor tool, because you are adding the grades for all the activities. Having all the grades on a specific area, this will allow you to review the student performance. It will allow you to identify at-risk student, analyze the student behavior within the course. You allow you to add a further calculation for the student grades, so you have a better understanding about student performance within the course. In the same time, the students, they will have an access not only to the grade activities that they have completed. They will see the list of all the activities that they need to complete. They will see their progress. They will see also the feedback, and also if there is other information that you might release, like the median, the average, the maximum grade, they will be able to compare their progress within other colleagues in the class. Now, for any graded activity that you created on the Blackboard lane, the system will create a column, or will create a grade column for that activity. Of course, there is some activities that happens outside, assessment activities that happened outside of the Blackboard lane. This is where the Blackboard allows you to create those columns manually, as we will see. How to access the Grade Center. We have accessed Grade Center during our presentation today. So in the course panel, in the course control panel, you can see the Grade Center menu item, and you have first introduced to you the needs grading. So needs grading, like a special area where it will provide a quick access for you as an instructor to all the activities that has been completed by the students and need to be graded by you. We have the full grade center. This is where you can access the full grade center, the full columns, the activities, and the users within the system. In the grade center, we will see two different, or there is two predefined columns, the total and the weighted total. Those are standard columns that comes with the grade center or grade book. So the total is the sum of all item points in the grade column. The total marked as an external grade, which means that it will be shared with other application if there is an integration with it. Now, suggested use for this one, it's like a quick indicator for the student performance. Weighted total is based on percentage, which is out of 100%. By default, it's not configured, because you need to configure and define the weight for the different assessment activity within the course. And it is used to present the final grade of your course for the student. Enough talking for the presentation, and let's go to the system and see how the Grade Center really works. So I'll stop using the presentation and go to my browser right away. So this is my course, and we said that within the course control panel, we can see the Grade Center. From here, the instructor can access the grade book or the Grade Center. Where the student, they need to go to the tools, and they can, from the tools, they can see my grades. Or you can create a quick link for your students in the course menu, like I'm doing now. To link my grades, and this is like quick link for the student to access their grades from the course home menu. Okay. Now the student, if he click on my grades, as we saw previously with the previous student account, once he click on my grades, he will be able to see the list of the activities and the status if he has participated on those activities or did not, and the type of these activities, like this is a test, this is a discussion and assignment. you will be able to see the grade and the feedback if already provided by the instructor. And his total now, as you can see, is 85 out of 100. How the system calculated this one? Remember that this activity worth 20, this one also worth up to 20, and this one also worth up to 60. The sum of all those activities are 100 points, and the student has collected 85 points. Let's review the description. So it is the unweighted sum of all grades of a user. Grading criteria, running total for all grades. So all the graded columns will be considered toward the total. Where the weighted total, see, it's not being configured because the description, this is the weighted sum of all grades based on item or category. And we said, but by default, it's not configured. Once it's configured, the system will display the grading criteria for it. Currently, there is no configuration for this one. From the instructor preview or from the instructor side, if I need to access the grade center, I just need to click on the full grade center, like this one. And the system will display the full grade center. Now, if I want to see the grades for the test type of activities, then I just need to click on the tests. The system will display only the test column only. If I want to see again the full, the system will display all the columns, as you can see, the total, weighted total, etc. Now let me go to the full grade center, and I will hide the course menu. So the grade center is displayed like as a grid, where you have in the rows the list of the students. And currently I have one student, which is the previous student. And the columns represent the grades of the students. So we have the weighted total and total. Those are predefined columns. And those are the chapter 1 assignment, reflection, and test. Those are the different graded activities that I have created on this. As we said, once you create any graded activity, automatically the system will create a column for that activity on the course. The total is already configured to calculate the sum of all the points. So the sum of the points that the user has collected is 85. If you move to the header of the title or of the column, the system will display some information here in this bar. So watch. If I click on total or hover over total, it says that total grade, possible points up to 100. See, it's already presented that here, possible up to 100. So in the total, if you hover over the title of the column, it will tell you exactly this is possible point 60. It's of type of assignment. It's called chapter 1, and one student out of 1 has submitted their work, and 0 attempts need to be grading. So you will have a grade information bar, and this is really very helpful for you. At the top of the page, there is what we call it the action bar. So you can create column, you can create a calculated column, you can manage your grade, you can generate reports. Also, you have the option to work offline, which means you can download this grade center and update that grade center using an Excel. Then you can just upload it with the new uploaded grades. So you can work offline and upload the results. Also, you have a filter. A filter allows you to customize the view. Currently, you are viewing the full grade center, but you have like blogs where you can see only the blogs activities. The final grade view, this is where you can see the final grade view like this one, only the total and total. So this filter allows you to view the grade center with pre-customized views to allow you to focus on a specific type of columns or activities. Now, to do the grading for any activity, usually like for the assignment, we have seen how to do the grading. And if you decided to change this grade, you just click on the cell and you can add the new grade for this one like that. So you can override the grade very easily. If you like, also, you can click on the context menu of that specific cell and view the attempt details for that student. Now, once you click on this one for this specific assignment, the system will take you to the student submission, and it will show your feedback that you already provided using the Blackboard Annotate and the grade that you have entered. So it will show you all the details. The same concept, if you go to the attempt for the discussion and say grade user activity for that discussion, then the system will bring all the student posts and it will show your grade and your feedback. For the test, the same. If you click on the attempt, then the system will display the student answers or the student attempt. So these are the questions, and this is the points that the student achieved. And by the way, you can override any of those grades as you need. So viewing the details or the attempts is really vary based on the type of the activity. Okay? And if there is multiple attempts, then the system will display attempt 1, attempt 2, and attempt 3. This is based on the different attempts that you might create. So we said that there is some activities that can happen outside of the course. Like I given my student a lab work, okay? And I have did an assessment for them in the lab. So what I need to do is just to make sure that to bring these grades. So I can create a column. And once you create a column, you can give it a name. So let's say this is like lab assessment, because I have done the assessment for my student on the lab. Then I would specify what is the primary display. It is a score. So the primary display for most of the items will be a score. So I will select score. And this is what the student and the instructor will see. The secondary display here, this is another view for the grade for me. I can select letter or percentage or complete or incomplete if I like. And this is available for me as instructor, and I can see it from the grade center. It has some usage. Then I can set what is the category of this activity. Is it a test? Is it a survey, assignment, or should I create a new category? For the time being, I will put it as a test. Then you specify the possible points. I would say this worth like 50 points. If there is a rubric, you can add it. If there is a due date also, you can add it. And the due date here, it just enables some features, because you can enable what we call it reporting period, which means display all the grades that need to be graded on that specific period. And the system will identify those items based on the due date. Here in the options, you can select to include this grade and the grade center calculation. You can select to show this column to the students, and also you can decide to show the statistics to the student. Once you're done, you just click on submit, and we have here now the lab assessment. And since this is not auto-graded activity and there is no attempt also in this one, what I can do, I can just click on this cell and add the student grade. I will give him 43. Now I can just go and view the grade details if I will. And once you've done that one for any cell, you will have a different areas. Like it says, this is the number of the attempts, if there is any attempts. This is the manual override for the grade. So if you override the grade for this student, then see now 30. The original grade has been overridden because the attempt originally get 43, but I have done an override, manual override, and I gave him 30. So his final grade now is 30. There is the column details, and there is what we call it the grade history. The grade history would track all the changes of the grades. And by the way, this cannot be cleared by the instructor or even by the administrator. No one can clear this one. Okay, this is the history. Even if you revert this back to its original, okay, and you go to the grade history, it would say that override grade has been cleared. So it says that it is 43, it was overridden, but the override has been cleared. It's still and if I view it, so this is the first grade, this is when it has been overridden, and this is it has been cleared. So all the history or any changes to the grade will be written here. That's why whenever we need to do a manual override, it is recommended to add a grading note. So add notes here. This is for auditing purpose. So this is really very important when it comes to do the grading. The reason for that, if you go to the grading history and you view the full history, then you will see the notes, why you have changed this grade from 43 to 40. So make sure you add the right notes. This is like the audit trail for any changes on the grade. And by the way, this one can be found on any course in any specific activity. So if you go to the assignment and click view grade details, the system will give you, this is the attempts, this is the manual override if you like to override, this is the column details, this is the grade history, and you can view the full grade history. And what is added here in the assignment or the test, for example, you can clear attempt or you can ignore attempt. Clear attempt, it's like removing the student participation, like he did not participate before. Ignore, the system will keep the grade, but it will not be calculated within the average or the total of this assessment activity. It is there. Allow additional attempt. This is where you give them like an exception, where you allow them to have an extra attempt. So the grade center here allow you view details to jump from student to student or from activity to activity, if you will, like this. So I can clear grade or can edit grade or grade user. Now, let's go and review what totals mean. So if you go to the column header and edit column information, you will see that total, which is a predefined one, it is the sum of all grade columns. Okay, it is the sum of all grade columns. So again, the system will calculate all the student points and find the sum of it. It is out of 150 and the student has get 130. This can be used as an indicator for the performance. Weighted total is not configured. Of course, weighted total is not configured in the middle of the term. It should be configured on a specific time during the term, because this will represent the student percentage. And of course, you might select to hide it from the student. So I can say hide from the student until I have the permission to release the grades for the student. So how to configure this one? In the weighted column, if you edit the columns, the idea behind the weighted column, you would say that the student should get 100% out of 100 or 100 out of 100%. Now, what is the weight of the activities? You might say that for the assignment as an overall, I will give him 30%. For chapter 2 test, I will give him, for example, 25%. For the reflection, I will give him like 10%. And for the lab assessment, then I will give him 35%. So this is 100%. So here you are defining the distribution of the weight for the different activities. So this is the one way you can do it. You can distribute the weight based on the different activities. But also, you can say for all the tests, it's worth 50%. For all the assignments, it's worth 40%, for example. For all the discussions, it's worth 10%. So as you can see, I have distributed the grades based on the category. What does that mean? Now, currently in the assignment, we have one assignment, and we said that all the assignments will worth 40% because it's of category assignment, not chapter 1 assignment. It is of category assignment. Now, if you added another 3 assignments, all these assignments will worth 40%. Okay? Where if you add chapter 1 assignment, for example, and say this 20%, this specific assignment worth 20%. But here in the category, I'm saying all the assignment, either if I have 1 assignment or 5 assignments in the course, it's worth 40%. So this is another way to distribute the grades. So sometimes we might say, okay, we need to distribute all the activities or the weight based on the categories, but for the final grade, for example, we need to add it. So you can do mix between the column or the category, if you will. Now, once you complete this one, the system will be able to calculate the weighted total, which is in this case 89 out of 100, as you can see. So this is the student final grade in this course. I know that you have a lot of questions, but remember, this is only an introduction to the Blackboard Lane features. There is a lot of options that we did not explore it. Feel free to explore it in your test course if you already have a test course. You can download this Grade Center, upload it again. You can play with the manage, how you can organize the columns. But be careful, if you are in real course, if you delete any column, you cannot retrieve it. So be careful when you are testing anything on the real course. Don't test anything on the real course. Test it on any training course or pilot course. This is what I have for today. I know 3 hours is a very long time, but I was pleased to be with you and present all the materials, all the topics that is part of this agenda. We have covered it in very high level, some of the items, but this is the time we have, and I'm looking to have another meeting with you and have more depth training on the Blackboard lanes and features, the Blackboard lane tools and features. Thank you everyone for your time, and thank you for being patient and participant, by being patient with me in this webinar. Have a good day, ladies and gentlemen, and Assalamu alaikum.